to the best morning show on the globe. It's Bradley and Emery in the morning, y'all. LeBron or Jordan, either one when I'm performing. Crossover, buzzer beater and I'm scoring. Bradham and Emery in the morning. Every play they on it. Every day I'm balling. Who's the coach? Who's the GOAT? Like Brady and Belichick, best show on the globe. And they embellish it. Y'all paying Ziffy. I'm Ken Griffey or maybe Mahomes. I stay in the zone, whether man to man or play in the zone. They can't stop me. Mayweather boxing. Curry with the shot, man. We just the best to be. Can we have our SP, please? This was meant to be. Every morning with Bradham and Emery.
Yes, sir. You know the vibes. Bradham in the morning. Marcus Bradham, Justin Emery.
So, Marcus, you're telling me there's a chance?
Well, there's more of a chance now. There's a possibility.
I have it ready. I'm going to let it fire.
We have reached. There was a chance when we found out that Joel Embiid was playing on Friday night. That was the chance. But now, after a glorious weekend in South Philly, it is no longer a chance. It is now a possibility. And if they go into South Beach Tuesday and play the way they did this weekend, possibility will turn into a probability. Because like I've said going into this series and like we've talked about, and you saw it this weekend, the 76ers, when healthy, are a better basketball team than Miami Heat. I think that is no question anymore after this weekend. It is just it's I mean, Embiid comes back at the absolute perfect time, and you just see what he does for this basketball team on both sides of the floor. What he does for this basketball team. It is. I mean, listen, night and day really is the only explanation you have how different it is with Embiid out there when he's not. It makes all the deficiencies, all the things the Sixers, all the weaknesses, they disappear when he's out there. He makes things so much easier for them on both sides of the floor. On the offensive side of the floor, you see the spacing that he creates. Even though the Sixers were getting open shots in games 1 and 2, it just makes things that much easier having him out there. The attention that he creates. The Heat don't have anybody that could possibly do anything with him. And he's not, and let's be real. He right now is operating at probably a 65 to 70% clip with the thumb and the face.
Yeah, I think he said in the post game yesterday between 70 and 80%.
Yeah, he's not. This is not the Embiid we even had in Toronto yet. But he's just so physically imposing at this point in his career that they really can't do anything with him. This Joel Embiid, if you get the Joel Embiid of 2 years ago, him even coming back isn't as much of a factor. But he's become a guy that not only is unbelievable, the most skilled big man we've ever seen, he's now physically imposing also at the same time.
I mean, he makes Bam look like a child. He makes Bam like Bam can't he can't do anything with him.
Yeah, I mean it's literally like back when if you taught like a younger class, like a third grade class, and like the teacher gets the basketball underneath the hoop and all, like 15 kids are swarming them, like jumping up and down, they just holding the ball as high as they can. And just that's pretty much been his offense for most of these games 3 and games 4, just basically getting great position and getting easy layups.
Well, yesterday when we were watching the game, so I had to put Sarah on ice for game 3. So we watched game 1 and 2 together, and you know the results for that.
Yeah, you had to change it up.
So I told her I had to put her on ice for game 3. Game 3 happened. So she came out of the penitentiary for game 4.
Okay.
And I was telling her, I was like, when you just watch the Sixers, just with them beat out there, it's like when you get into a fight and you get beat up, and then you go and find your older brother.
Yeah.
Find the person, and you're like, well, now my brother's here, and now he's gonna fight you. Right. That's what it looks like when Embiid shows up. Embiid comes, and everybody else is like, all right. It's the same to a little lesser degree how Maxey looks when Harden doesn't play. Those games where it's Maxey playing and Maxey looks like,
yeah,
oh man, where's my big brother at?
Right.
That's what it looks like. And when they came out there, you saw Bam had 4 fouls with what?
Yeah, game 3 he was
25 minutes into it.
Yeah, he played a little better last night, but game 3 he was
He used 9
he
points.
didn't know what to do.
He averaged 15 points less.
Yeah.
Game 3, and he averaged, I believe, 10 points less in game 4.
Well, I mean, he shot 90% on DeAndre Jordan, and those easy opportunities and those opportunities that you get, and like Bam is a big, like, the thing too that's so disruptive. So we talk about the offensive side, the defensive side with Embiid. Bam is the kind of the engine that makes everything go in their offense. Like he's the main guy, sets all the picks. Him being able to free flow in that offense is huge for them, and Embiid's just disrupting all of that. So those picks that he sets for those guys, they're not getting the best of looks, especially in game 3. I mean, game 3 they struggled to score 80 points. Now they didn't shoot very well either night, but I also believe a lot of that had to do with that they were just not getting the shots they were accustomed to getting in games 1 and 2. They just on any from any level, the outside shooting, inside shooting. I mean, listen, Jimmy Butler was out there like Tobias Harris in game 1 and 2 fighting for his life. And if they didn't have Jimmy Butler, they lose by 30 both games.
Yes.
He really was doing. I mean, you just gotta love Jimmy Butler. Like he's literally doing everything in his power trying to keep them in both of these games. It's just offensively right now, the way they're set up, they don't have enough. That's why, like, curious. I don't know if you were curious about this. I don't understand for the life of me why they got Duncan Robinson over there in the box, not unwrapping that present, because
90 million. He hasn't played a minute yet.
I'm confused.
I guess. I mean,
he's done to get in the doghouse. Number 1, number 2.
Yeah.
Like if you look at them right now, they're missing shooting. Like they're like Max Strus has given them nothing the past 2 games. Kyle Lowry, you want to talk about washed? He's pretty much done.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, it went from 2-0 to 2-2. But I mean, so obviously game 5, you'd be hard pressed for him not to play. He looks like he can't even move out there. Like he looks.
I mean, the hamstring bother him, but like even before that, like he's not what he used to be.
I mean, what's he 35? Like he's definitely on.
And thank God we didn't play for that deal.
Yeah,
that would have been really bad. But anyway, so he's gonna try to give it everything on game 5, but I don't even know if you want him out there. But Strus is giving you nothing. I mean, the most outside shooting they get from Tyler Hero, but he hasn't been the same guy in games 3 and 4. I think one of those factors, I think Matisse Thybulle has done a much better job on him, especially last night. It looks like he's waking up a little bit, which is good news for the Sixers. So they're being a little more physical with him and doing a better job with him. Victor Oladipo, who killed them games 1 and 2, he's been contained. I don't understand for the life of me why and maybe in game 5 they go to Duncan Robinson. Again, I don't know what he has done to get to the point where he's not even playing anymore.
Well, I mean, he's not an athlete. Well, in basketball terms, he's not the best athlete. Like he's basically a turnstile.
Right.
So I think some of that, not all of it. I think some of it might be he can't stay in front of Maxey. He can't stay in front of Harden.
Yeah,
he probably can't even stay in front of Thybulle.
And you're absolutely right. But here's the problem that he have right now is they don't have enough offense.
No, I mean this dude wakes up and he can knock down 7 threes in his sleep.
Right, and like he's a guy that the Sixers struggle against because of his movement. Sixers don't do well with guys that move off the ball the way he does.
I just remember the Christmas game where he hit 7 threes in the first half.
Right, and he's capable of doing that at any time.
Mm-hmm.
And they need an offensive jolt like that because right now, again, they don't have enough offense to stay with the Sixers. They just don't. Jimmy Butler pretty much is their offense at this point in time.
Yeah.
Not getting any other good because they don't really, if you look at the way they're constructed, they don't have anyone besides Butler and Hero that are capable of getting their own offense. The rest of their offense comes from a flow. And Bam now with Embiid back, the flow is disrupted. So they're not like a guy like Max Strus. He's useless now to them because he's not getting those looks because Bam can't be available to set those picks for him the way he was in games 1 and 2. And Lowry was a guy that was capable of getting his own shot. He can't do that right now with the hamstring and age factors also. So you're putting a lot of pressure on Jimmy Butler to do everything. You saw him in the third quarter last night try to do everything and came close to doing everything. But at some point, it's gonna fade. They always say that role players perform better at home, and no truer example of that than Danny Green this past year. I mean, this weekend he was absolutely in fuego. Friday night he hit you with 7 threes.
Yeah.
Last night he was in that second quarter where the Sixers started to get separation a little bit. He was huge. 2 threes in a row, including a 4-point play opportunity. He missed a free throw, but big momentum shift right there. They get up by 10. Then I was getting a little frustrated because the Heat climbed back in, but the Sixers do a great job in the last minute and a half of closing out the quarter and getting a little separation, and that's going in the second half. Third quarter, back and forth. And then we get fourth quarter Harden. Quarter Harden last night. A huge fourth quarter. He's the first Sixer in Sixers history to have 30-plus points, 5+ rebounds, 5+ assists, and 5 threes in the playoffs. So that's obviously huge. The best he's looked as a Sixer from a scoring perspective was last night, and picked a perfect time to do it. You needed every one of those shots that he took and made in the fourth quarter. He was absolutely huge down the stretch, gave them a huge boost. It's if you're the Heat going back to South Beach, like you're just like a lot of times, listen, okay, we lost 2 games in their building. All right, fine. They still have to beat us here. But if you're the Heat, you got to be like, okay, we lost 2 games in their building. However, we must recognize this is a completely different basketball team that was in South Beach games 1 and 2.
Yes.
They're not even recognizable the same team. And oh, by the way, the reason they're not the same team, he's coming back with us to South Beach.
Yeah. I'm a little surprised. Obviously, I heard people yesterday talking on the pregame, is Embiid going to wear the mask? First off, that's the dumbest question to ask yourself. Of course he's going to still be wearing the mask.
Who asked that question?
I'd rather not say, but somebody on the pregame show.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, he has to wear that mask for the rest of the playoffs.
I'll give you a hint who it is. He also doubles on Boomer Radio in the morning.
Oh, this is a national pregame?
No. On the Sixers flagship station.
Okay. Oh, okay. What? That's wow. Okay.
Yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's a surprisingly dumb question, but okay.
He was on with Devon on the pregame show yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
and he obviously Devon's as thorough as they come with basketball.
Yes, official.
Obviously it helps that I don't know if helps the right word, but his cousin being an NBA player, I'm sure
Yeah, that kind of helps.
Bridges from
Phoenix. Yep.
Phoenix, yeah. But no, the other one, he was he asked a legitimate question: will we see Embiid with the mask on? And Devon was like, yes, 100%. He just moved on to the next topic.
Yeah.
But I'm surprised he's wearing a black mask, Marcus. And the reason I say that is because he has no peripheral vision with the mask on. And in game 3, those bounce passes by his legs, you could see he had a hard time corralling them because I don't think he can see the ball on those bounce passes down by his legs with the mask on. And you saw in game 4, passes were a little bit higher, waist area, chest area to him. And I think that is in direct result of the mask not being clear.
They had a question. Who's the greatest mask player
You saw us, yeah,
of all time? I mean, now I'm with everybody else. It's Rip Hamilton.
It has to be.
However, Black Mask Braun was terrifying.
61 points.
Black Mask Braun was terrifying. Like absolutely like scary, like nightmare scary.
Yeah.
Like that was probably the coolest looking mask in NBA history.
Yeah, I forgot that. I forgot Kyrie had a mask.
Me too. But Rip definitely. I mean, Rip, like,
I mean, he's the originator, basically.
he's the original, mask guy. Like,
did you see in the comments on that some of the old school masks, the pictures that were up there?
did they have the Bill Laimbeer one up?
No, but they had this one of this guy who it basically looked like he was wearing like the face mask of a football helmet. Like it had like a bar like coming down the middle, down his nose.
Oh, that's terrible.
Splitting off like above his mouth.
That's terrible.
And I saw that and I was like, who would have approved of a mask like that?
Yeah, that's bad. But
then you have that guy who I think he may have been a little bit after your playing days.
Mm-hmm.
But did you see he had a jaw brace on?
No.
Oh, I saw that and I looked at it and I thought that is medical malpractice.
So like you look at these last two games, and this is why going into Friday, when we had the show on Friday, obviously, everyone's disappointed about how they performed in South Beach and how they looked and how things went down. But there were so many things to be hopeful about coming home, knowing that, like you said, they did this without Big Brother, and Big Brother will be back Friday. And also the shooting aspect, thinking that there's no way in the world they're going to shoot this way in South Philly. There's no way in the world when Embiid coming back, they shoot this way, and they get the shooting. Obviously, Danny Green goes. Shooting was really, really important. Second half of Game 3, consistently throughout Game 4. Niang hit a couple threes for you. Thibault finally gets one down yesterday. And you couple that, and also too, again, defensively, they just it's so incredible how Embiid's energy, because what Embiid does is, you saw a couple times last night that he was switched on one-on-one with Victor Oladipo. Embiid is 7'2", 280. There's no way in the world he should be able to stay in front of Victor Oladipo, but he can, and that's the difference. I saw, like I'm sure you did, several instances in a game 3 or 4 where I can harken back to games 1 and 2 and look at shots that were changed and altered because of Embiid's presence and what he creates. And I was like, man, that would have been a basket. That would have been a basket. That would have been a basket. I was just pointing them out in my head, like, it's unbelievable seeing that the changes were made.
I have something to show you real quick.
Okay.
I happen to be able to dig it up. And where's it at now? I found the picture of him. For some reason, StreamYard's not letting me put it on the screen now.
Okay.
I have the picture. It is Gerald Henderson is the name.
Oh yeah, I remember Gerald Henderson. He has Sixers for a little bit.
Yeah, Gerald Henderson. This is when he's with the Celtics.
Okay.
Okay, 1980. So a little bit after your playing days.
Yes.
But I have the picture as long as
73.
As soon what's that?
I retired in 73.
Yeah, I mean, justifiably so. You deserve retirement.
Well, they didn't have it was an ankle injury. They didn't have the technology they have today, so I had to retire.
Yeah, I mean, like
really
we say, you can come back from the ACLs.
Yeah.
We say that you can come back from the ACLs. It's the Achilles, and obviously back when you played the ankle.
Yes.
Big time issues. What is going on here? All right. Well, for whatever reason, we're not allowed to apparently show Gerald Henderson on our screen anymore.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll post the picture on our
socials,
so you can say it.
So Brad Memory Pod, check that out, and we'll have that for you. But yeah, it's just so much optimism. Like I said, it was a chance on Friday that turned into a possibility after last night's win. But if they go to South Beach and win that game, is now a probability. And
best of 3.
How can you not feel good with them going back there? Because again, we talked about before, is not really a home court advantage there. It's not a place that's intimidating to play, and I mean, it's a place that you could win a basketball game. And especially you get off to a good start, which I expect they'll probably get off to their best start on Tuesday. Obviously, you're going to get a not that they haven't been motivated these 2 games in Philly. However, you're going to get an extremely motivated Heat team knowing that they are fighting for their lives in the sense that they can't lose game 5. They can't, because if you lose game 5 and go down to that 1-0, that best of 3, you're in trouble, because now you got to go back and win 2 in a row.
Yep.
And that makes things that much harder to beat a really good team 2 times in a row in a 6 and 7, 6 to fight for your life, and then come home to a game 7. So it's a must win for I guess, I mean, I'm not going to say for both teams, but it is. I think that's like something like when a series is tied 2-2, the team that wins game 5 wins like 84% of series. So it's obviously, it goes without saying, game 5 is a huge barometer to who's going to win the series. But if you're a Sixers fan, you got to feel good. The momentum is strongly on your side. The Heat can't do much to adjust. The only thing that really I can think of is playing Duncan Robinson. Because I don't really know what else they can really do. Markieff Morris has been out since November, made his debut last night. He's been ramping up since January, but he's not in a position where he's ready to give you real big minutes. You saw that last night. He was kind of a fish out of water. Dedmon, who knows? I mean, listen, I want to guess. I don't know. He had a non-COVID related injury, illness. That's why he was out last night. So, you'll see. I expect him back Tuesday, but who knows? Kyle Lowry's out there on one leg. Again, Max Strus, God bless his heart. He's giving you nothing right now offensively. Because he's another guy that if he's not hitting threes, he's basically useless for you, and you're not getting any production from him out there. Oladipo hasn't been the same. They're doing a much better job on Hero. So it's just a Jimmy Butler show. And I feel very comfortable with Jimmy Butler going off and the Sixers still being able to win the game. The Sixers have way too much. I mean, they have guys everywhere that give them buckets. Obviously, you got Joel Embiid. Harden get you buckets. Maxey get you buckets. Tobias Harris is playing some of the best basketball of his career on both ends of the floor, everywhere, doing everything, and just playing with confidence. He's playing with extreme confidence. So you're getting production literally from every aspect of your team. And when these teams are operating at max capacity at their best, give me the Sixers every day and twice on Sunday.
It's difficult to deal with when they're rolling. Embiid, I understand it's a regular season award. Let's not act like he hasn't been stamping that MVP.
Oh, 1,000%. 1,000%. If you can look into what's happened this weekend down at Broad and Patterson, and you try to sit there and tell me that he's not the MVP, tell me you don't know basketball without telling me you don't know basketball.
Oh, I mean, it's
just obvious.
It's a joke if you don't think he's the MVP. I mean, Big Perk has been all over.
Yes.
All over this. The entire
basically the only Sixers supporter we have out there nationally. Yeah, I mean, he's just, this weekend just shows you got a guy out there, again, as we talking about, operating not at full capacity with a broken face and a fractured thumb, and still is disrupting everything the Miami Heat want to do and making their lives difficult on both ends of the floor, to the point where I remember early in the game, Harden gave Embiid a great entry pass, and two guys converged. It was Bam and Butler converged on Embiid, but they couldn't do anything about it. They got close up to Jimmy Butler's face, and you saw that WTF face. What am I supposed to do here? What are we supposed to do? You saw that look on his face, well, that's just going to happen, and there's nothing really we can do about it. Eric Spoelstra, who is, in my opinion, one of the greatest coaches in NBA history, you saw him on the sideline just standing there, you saw looking at his face too, I don't know what to do here. I don't know. I think it was almost looked like, I think we've used up everything we can do. We've used up all of our tricks. We have no tricks left. We're just gonna have to hope they lay an egg one of these games coming up. And I don't think that they will. I mean, I think that, obviously you see the Embiid factor. Harden, whatever slump he was in shooting, he definitely came out of that last night in a big way.
Necessary.
Yeah, very. Again, early in the show, it said all those threes he hit, all those shots he took, it was necessary evils for the Sixers to win that game.
Mm-hmm. I got the brace on. You ready to say it?
Yes, I am. Yeah. Is that a neck? Oh, it's a neck brace.
It's technically a jaw brace. He broke his jaw.
That is absurd. He looks like he should be in a hospital bed with an IV. Who made that's horrible.
Like that's medical malpractice now.
As I don't even know how it's legal. How? First of all, so if he gets hit in the jaw, how is that protecting his jaw? I feel like that's still gonna hurt really badly if he gets hit in the jaw. That was silly. I mean, listen, 1980, right? I mean, what are you gonna do? But yeah, so I'm just over the moon because it was the thing. I think for me, I'm sure you can relate to this. The disappointing thing, going into Game 3, it was just if we had Embiid, if we had Embiid, if we were healthy, if we were hitting shots, nothing about Games 1 and 2, they looked remotely similar to the way they played in most of the Raptor series. And a lot of that had to do with Embiid being out, but they weren't hitting shots. They weren't defending properly. It was just frustrating because I think, going into this series, I looked at the Heat Sixers as I thought the Sixers were slightly better, but it was more of a push for me when it came to the two. After watching Games 1 and 2, I was like, okay, we're healthy. We are significantly better than this basketball team. And I don't want to be disrespectful to the Miami Heat. They are. I mean, listen. One thing I will say about the Heat that I am jealous of is the way they can develop players. You look at their roster; they have about four to five guys that are undrafted NBA basketball players, and they do this consistently. They have, if you go through the history of their organization, I think they have something like 15 to 20 guys that they've had in their organization in the history of their franchise that were undrafted guys that gave them significant minutes. That's unheard of. Matt Strus, an undrafted guy. Duncan Robinson was undrafted, just on the roster now. Dedmon, another undrafted guy on their roster. And most of their guys are not, even the guys they have, they're not high draft picks. They're not high draft picks. They're really good at their system at developing guys. I'm jealous of that here. I wish we had more of that here. Could you imagine a guy like a Paul Reed in that system now down there? A Charles Bassey, down there. A Zaire Smith down there. I mean, I know he's not on the roster anymore, but Sixers struggle in developing young guys consistently. Maxey is kind of the exception to the rule. They really don't do a great job because Joel Embiid, I give Drew Hanlon the credit for developing him, not Sixers staff. I think it was mostly probably 80 and 90% Drew Hanlon. And Embiid was just so naturally talented anyway. I don't really give them credit for that of him being developed by their staff. I think Tyrese Maxey, Sam Cassell did a great job with him, and Doc also. But I wish they had that for a guy like Paul Reed, stuff like that. So the Heat culture is something remarkable. But anyway, they're as a 1 seed, not as a NBA team, but as a 1 seed. This is extremely weak 1 seed.
Yeah.
They just are. I mean, that's just calling a spade a spade. They're not an overly impressive 1 seed. Again, while I was very,
we could have been talking, had Embiid not gotten his face broken, we could have been discussing a potential sweep last night.
Right. And
at least in my opinion, 3-1. I think they would have split in Miami and won it up.
Yeah.
So we're at least going back to South Beach up 3-1. Yes,
I agree. Yeah, they're extremely weak 1 seed. That's why I was very excited to be on the side of the bracket to get the Raptors and the Heat. I thought it was the easiest route to the Eastern Conference Finals because the Bucks Celtics, they're in a dogfight over there in that series, and those two.
What did I tell you, Marcus?
Two teams, bro. They're going to lose a game. They're going to lose a couple games. I'm
telling you, the Bucks will win that series. I'm
still going Celtics. I still think Celtics win the series. We'll see. But the Bucks are a really good basketball team, so this wasn't going to be what the Celtics did to the Nets. It's going to be 6 or 7, probably 7 now for Celtics to win. But those two teams, I believe, are the best 2 teams in the East right now. Coming up in if Sixers can get past this round, you know, we'll see how they match up there. But I don't want to get ahead of myself, and because we got obviously an important Game 5 coming up on Tuesday. But
I believe what's it, Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday?
That sounds about right to me. I would because if you're going I wouldn't see them skipping 3 days until Game 7. So yes, I think
I'm pretty sure it's Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday.
Because you want the Sunday Game 7. So that makes I'm not sure, but that sounds good. That sounds right to me.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, it's again, it's a lot of reasons to be optimistic. It's interesting. Matisse Thybulle is an interesting case study right now. It's almost like he just came, like, I don't know what happened, but he definitely looked the most like himself last night. And
I have such a love-hate relationship with him during the series that, like, my opinion of him changes play by play, possession by possession.
And you saw him, like, when you know Matisse Thybulle is playing well, when he's getting deflections.
Mm-hmm.
He was not getting any of those the first couple games, and the Raptor series didn't have any. You barely knew who's out there, but you see what he can when he's at his best, what he can do to disrupt. And he definitely, because here's the thing about a shooter like a Tyler Hero is rhythm is extremely important to a guy like that. And like he listen, he hit some shots last night too. However, his rhythm for the most part has been disrupted. It was disrupted big time in Game 4. A lot of it had to do with Thybulle because Thybulle was the primary defender on him a lot. But Thybulle started last night to get those deflections. So you saw a lot of those caroms. That's the activity and Thybulle need. And then also, he started to attempt some shots. He had 3 last night. He had a couple. He had a layup. I think a dunk. So he's starting to become a factor again, which you need. You need it. It's listen, man. This is the playoffs. You're deep in round 2. It's an all hands on deck situation. You need all guys to be performing at top tier levels, and that's what it took to get out of here with 2 wins in Philly.
Isn't it funny how after again another series that Doc says how much he's going to play Jordan? I mean,
yeah, it is very. It's funny you brought that up because I actually thought of the same thing where you're and again, you go back to games.
I mean, I understand some of
much as we hate
coach speak, some of his coach speak, some of it is that he's just kind of just talks out of his ass regularly all the time anyway.
Right. And his problem is he gets so defensive.
Yeah.
And stands gets on these the whole I'm playing DeAndre Jordan whether you guys like it or not. Which, listen, I understand the fact that I said it after Game 2, Paul Reed's not much better either. And I understand, and I know you understand why he thought it was a good idea to start DeAndre Jordan and to play DeAndre Jordan a lot.
But it's not
because you see what happens. If Embiid comes back, DeAndre Jordan's back in the cobwebs.
Yeah,
yeah.
Me and him are putting up the same box scores now,
right? And he's going with Paul Reed in those non-Embiid minutes. Listen, Embiid, and that's another thing. Embiid gives you last night. He plays the entire first quarter and the entire third quarter, which was huge because I don't know whose idea that was. But it was genius because that third quarter, if you do the regular rotation, he's out, for about 4 or 5 minutes that quarter.
I believe he played the whole third quarter in Game 3 as well.
Yeah, if you do that, if he doesn't do that in that third quarter, it's danger zone for the Sixers because that's the quarter Butler really, really went off and was really fighting, really trying to keep them in the game. And instead of the Heat looking to push ahead, Embiid kept playing that entire third quarter, kept the Sixers slightly ahead. So then you go in the fourth quarter to the non-Embiid minutes paired with the non-Butler minutes. Mm. So it became and I don't know if that was on purpose, where they were like, "You're gonna every time Jimmy's in the game, you're in the game." I don't know if that was the move, but it was perfect because those non-Butler minutes, the Heat you saw couldn't really generate much of anything, and the Sixers still have guys that can get you buckets out there. Maxey was out there with Harden. Harden, of course, as we know, 3 threes in the fourth quarter, which was huge shots, and really kind of helped them pull away, and they did all that with Embiid on the bench. That final push where they really take control, Embiid was on the bench for that, which was nice and a nice luxury to have. So, but Embiid playing the first quarter and third quarter was huge for them. Obviously you're gonna see these next 3 games. I expect him to play like 40 to 43 minutes.
Yeah, one of my favorite all-time sports visuals is that confused look on Eric Spoelstra's face when he's like, "All right, I got nothing."
Yeah, with the hands on his hip, where listen, Eric Spoelstra is a great NBA coach.
Oh yeah,
he's just what do you want me? He's at the what do you want me to do stage.
Yeah,
and I get it, because it's a certain point where you can work as hard as you want. That's what the Heat culture is about, right? They're about working hard, playing hard all the time. But when you don't have the talent, you just don't have the talent. And right now, the Heat are at a talent deficiency when it comes to the Sixers.
Now, have you ever seen the interview with Iman Shumpert where he talks about playing against Kobe Bryant for the first time?
Playing against him.
Against Kobe.
Yes. When he said after 3 quarters.
Yeah. Yes.
Nice game, young fella.
Yeah. And he goes, Kobe comes down, hits a 3, throws it off the glass to himself, makes it, comes down, and then hits another 3. He's like, D'Antoni calls a timeout, and I go to the bench. He just looks at me. I just look at him and go, what you want me to do?
Right.
That's the same thing. Like Embiid comes down, posts him up, gets the rebound. Harden comes down, hits a 3. They come back down. Embiid blocks, was it Markieff or Marcus?
Yeah, he blocked him like I block Xavier in the driveway playing against.
I was going to say
like a father to his son.
I telegraphed the whole time. At no point in time you think that wasn't going to be a block.
Right.
And then what happens? They come down. What happens? Danny Green corner 3, and then they call the timeout, and you get the "what you want me to do" look.
And the philosophy of fronting Embiid, I agree, because they're a smaller team. So, fronting him and trying to deny him like that, and the Heat culture is so like Indiana basketball, right? Just the fundamentals and the right way to play the game, as Larry Brown would say. Fronting Embiid is the right thing to do because you can't out physical Joel Embiid. You don't have anyone that can really do that. You have guys that want to do that, like Kyle Lowry would love to out physical Joel Embiid. Can't. PJ Tucker would love to. Can't do it. Jimmy Butler would love to. Can't do it.
Tucker is an annoying dude to play against.
He's one of those. He's like a Marcus Smart type, where a guy I would love to have here, because that energy is contagious. But those guys that his name, they would love to out physical Joel Embiid. They physically can't do it. So the best thing to do is try to make sure he doesn't catch the ball. But again, he's 7'2". So if the entry pass is where it's supposed to be, he gets that catch deep in the post, you're in trouble. You can't do anything down there with him. So, those type of plays, set the tone early on. The Sixers were going to physically impose their will on the Heat. And what do you do when you're the Heat and you're supposed to be the team that's out physicaling people? You're supposed to be that team that's physically imposing, but the other team's giving that to you. It kind of changes things. PJ Tucker was almost useless because he got in so much foul trouble trying to create those hustle plays, but like he was getting himself in foul trouble trying to do that, so he couldn't do much. And
bringing the fouls up across them all this whole last 2 games.
Yeah,
really the whole series.
Yeah,
even down in Miami, Sixers are ringing them up for fouls.
They really are. I mean,
can we knock at Scott Foster again? I'm like,
right.
I
was nervous when I saw him assigned to the game, but
I was a little.
It worked out.
It was a little uneasiness, little skipping the heartbeat.
Yeah, but they took care of business, and again, you gotta feel good going down to Miami Tuesday night. Now listen, one cause for pause I do have is that it is really tough in the playoffs to win 3 games in a row. Yeah. It's a really, really tough thing to do.
But this team already did it once this postseason.
Correct, they did against a similar opponent, but obviously the Heat are a better version of the Raptors. it's just a difficult thing to do that.
Now,
Now the scenario is the same of winning 2 on your floor and going down to someone else's building and winning 1. So that's the same, even though it's a different series count, it's the same scenario.
now let me ask you this question, because this was a lot of what people were talking about on the pregame yesterday.
Yeah.
That regardless, now, and I'm asking you because you already know the outcome of the game, so it's a little bit of a skewed question, but the winner of yesterday's game will win the series, yes or no?
Yes, I like the Sixers right now. Yes.
Now, obviously, had the Heat won, it would have been 3-1.
Right.
And now it's 2-2. But regardless of the fact that you know the outcome, the winner of yesterday's game wins the series.
Yes.
All right.
I think if you would ask me my honest opinion, I think the Heat are done in the sense that they got no more bullets in the chamber.
I mean, they gave the Sixers their best shot and they still lost the game.
Right. But they were, I mean, and their best shot really was just Jimmy Butler being Jimmy Butler. I mean, and they really had, if you go through their offense, especially last night, like I throw out Friday because they shot, I mean, and a lot of it was Sixers defense, but they shot so poorly Friday. They barely got the 80 points. They're not going to do that. But if you look at last night, I think last night was a more clear sample size of what their offense has become. And they just don't have enough. They don't have enough to really compete with the Sixers when the Sixers are firing on all cylinders offensively. They just don't. And you got to believe at some point in Game 5, the Sixers will be firing on all cylinders offensively. You don't need to do it for 4 quarters, but you just need to have a period of time where you're firing on all cylinders. And I don't think the Heat can do that again against the Sixers defense with Embiid back.
No, Embiid is, I mean, like Sarah said yesterday, he doesn't even have to really play. He can just go out there and run up and down the court.
Yeah.
And it'll probably be enough for the Sixers to win.
And listen, I don't want to be disrespectful because like he had 18-11 Friday night, but that's what he was doing for most of Friday night. He was just out there, just being out there. Because listen, the guy was in bed for 6 days. He didn't really
look at his cell phone.
He didn't do any conditioning. Like he was stoned. You saw there was a period of time he was exhausted in Friday.
Yeah. Well, Doc said he was going to try to keep him at 36 minutes, and then going into the fourth quarter, they were like, "He's at 30 minutes. What are you going to do?"
Right.
And he was just kind of like, "We're going to win this game. Like that's what's going to happen.
That's what we need to do." Right. And obviously, Embiid's gonna.
And I mean, like, what's Embiid? 27, 28 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, now I may be sounding naive when I say this, but like for a 27-year-old, what's the difference between playing 36 minutes and 39 minutes?
Right.
I mean, I don't know if that's too naive of a statement.
Right.
But like, really, what's the difference between playing 36 and 39 minutes?
Chris Haynes been working the series, and he talked to Embiid before the game. And Embiid said, "Listen, man, like I've only so many shots at this. Like, there's no way in the world when we have a chance to get to the NBA Finals, I'm not going to be out here with my team. I'm going to do everything I can to be out here with them and give them everything I have." And that's what he's done the past couple of games. Again, I think if you go back to a 2018, 2019, Embiid being out there wouldn't be good enough because I don't believe he was physically imposing. Now he is.
When do you think he's going to collect some hardware? I think it's coming maybe Game 6?
Yeah, I mean, that you talked about the rumors on Friday that the rumors that he was going to get it.
And like the thing is that despite all the rumors that were circulating, obviously it didn't happen, but
yeah,
the necessary parties were in the building.
Yes.
So I don't know.
I mean, listen, and call me biased, whatever. I just don't see how it's possible because you look at last year. Last year, usually you get it the year after. You may should have got it. Like Joker last year was phenomenal, just like he was this year, but he wins it because he was phenomenal the year before also. Embiid was phenomenal last year, and then ramps up a little bit more this year, and dealing with all off the court stuff with the Ben Simmons stuff. Not having a point guard for part of the year, being so much of this team's offense and defense, hold this team together, all of that stuff. and the scoring champion, putting up these historic numbers, you look at it like, okay, this guy definitely should be the MVP for this year. I don't know how he doesn't get it. It would be a injustice if he didn't. But
I mean,
at the end of the day,
Steve Nash is walking around with Kobe's MVP. So
right. At the end of the day, obviously, he wants it, but for him, it's about getting his team past second round of the playoffs. Like I'm sure if it was like Joe, you can either have the MVP or get this team in the Eastern Conference Finals with one you rather have. He'll pick the Eastern Conference Finals.
We're one step closer to a boat parade, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
One step closer.
One step closer to a boat parade. It's just I'm just so happy they were able to get this thing back and knot it up. They have an excellent opportunity to go into South Beach Tuesday.
Yep.
Get a win.
Yep.
An excellent opportunity.
Fingers crossed that it happens.
I mean, this is a situation. A lot of these guys have never been in before. A game 5. Embiid had a 2-2 game 5 a couple years ago against the Raptors in Canada. Didn't go so well. Tobias was on that team too. But now you got Maxey in a game 5. Harden's been here before, I'm sure. This is where guys like a guy like a Danny Green is very important in a game like this, because Danny Green is a guy that's played in a lot of really big playoff games in his career. So he's a guy. I'm not going to say you want to lean on the court, but I expect his energy, him to understand.
I mean, he's head and shoulders the most accomplished. I don't know if most accomplished is the right word.
No, it is.
When it comes to postseason,
absolutely. Yeah.
The entire organization, coaching staff included.
Yeah, no question.
Now, was he necessarily the most integral player on those teams? No.
He was a bit. I mean, especially with the Spurs, young Danny Green, he was a big part of what they did. The Raptors.
But by no means was he ever the Kawhi. Was he ever the Tim Duncan? Was he ever the LeBron, the KD, the Steph?
Yeah,
he was never that. But solid piece nonetheless. Despite the fact that I still hate him during the regular season.
Right. How bad did you feel for Seth Curry Friday night? Watching him on the
first off, shout out for 6 Man for bringing him through.
It broke my heart.
Like, you can see the look on his
heart watching that.
Somebody tweeted and was like, "If I'm Seth Curry, I'm never talking to Ben Simmons again."
Yeah, I saw that. And do you see that picture of how genuinely happy he was for Danny Green? Like, he still is. Like, I feel like he still is.
Is Seth under contract next year?
Yeah, one more year.
Oh, because I was gonna say let's bring him back, sign him again.
Man, I would love nothing more to bring. Like, I understand why he had to throw him in there, but I would love nothing more. And it has to be really hard for him not to be in this game.
Can we get Drum back though? Can we get Drum back though?
Please. Yeah, I just felt really bad for him. I was like, oh, Seth. Oh, I mean, I appreciate the support, but man.
That Oakland A's hat.
The Oakland hat. Yeah, he was. Yeah, it was tough watching him. And then you had Spider Mitchell in the building.
Yeah, that was different, I guess.
New York resident Spider Mitchell. I think he's friends with Embiid, I believe.
Is he?
Yeah, I know they've exchanged Twitter.
Speaking of how funny was Jimmy Butler's comment to Embiid on IG after Game 3? Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
All right, so Embiid puts out a post on IG. I believe it's a quote from Batman where it's like, "Nobody cared about me before I put on the mask."
Uh-huh.
And Jimmy Butler commented on it and said, "F your mask." But
I love their friendship. I'm gonna love. Last night, I'm sure you saw them. They were having a conversation. It looked like I think fourth quarter they were talking. I would love to be the fly on the wall and be near what exactly we're saying to each other.
He'd be probably like, "Big fellow, like, what are you doing?"
Yeah, why'd you have to come back here and ruin my shot to get back to the Eastern Conference Finals?
And he's probably saying something real foul back to him, jokingly.
Yeah, I mean, you even saw like when Embiid hits him in the face, how how Jalen Lee was concerned about, make sure he was okay.
I mean, he literally pushed PJ Tucker out of the way
Right.
to pull Jimmy Butler up himself.
Right. And
Like, you can tell those two off the court clearly like each other.
Well, and this, it always comes back to Ben Simmons. It had to be a hurt piece because, Jimmy Butler's still here, really, if it wasn't for Ben Simmons.
Yo, what do you think the two of those? What do you think those guys say to each other after the game about Ben?
The conversations I'm sure they've had, the
Yeah.
text changes, the phone conversations about the situation, because they talked about it.
Yeah.
They were talking about it a lot. They've been talking about it a lot, obviously.
Well, they talk all the time because you remember Embiid telling Kat, being like, "Yo, don't forget, I know what happened to you at that practice in Minnesota. You know who told me."
Right. Which, I mean, I'm sure, a lot of the Embiid stuff with Kat before had something to do with
probably fueled a little bit
that practice and that scenario. But I don't know, man. I'm excited. I'm excited.
ready to go. I can't wait. I wish they were playing tonight.
I'm mad that we don't have a game tonight. But
yeah, I know.
I guess we could use a little bit of a inhale.
Well, on Wednesday, we'll recap a big game 5, preview a big game 6.
Yes. Regardless, and one of those things, listen, win or lose, obviously a win would be much better than a loss, but win or lose, this is a series. It's still a best of 3.
Yes.
It's still a best of 3. I mean, win or lose.
At least it's not going to be 4 or 5.
Right. This is a series now. Listen, like I said, you're asking a lot to ask Texas to go out there and win 4 in a row and win 3 in a row, but it can happen. We've seen it happen before.
Throw out that win 3 in a row or win 4 in a row. Throw that out now. Now I'm asking them to win a best of 3.
Yeah.
I'm now asking them to win a best of 3, but 2 of those games are on the road. So I'm going to ask you have to win a road game and a home game. That's all I'm asking them moving forward.
And again, you have to feel good with the fact that I look at the two teams. I believe the Sixers are a head and shoulders better basketball team than Miami Heat. That has to make you feel good.
Yeah, when you go player for player, it's not really that close.
No. That's why even when the Sixers were not playing their best, Maxey and Harden as a backcourt combination were dominating the Heat's backcourt.
Yes.
Like outscoring them. Now, we give up that same deficiency with our bench as Tyler Hero going into yesterday.
He's a bucket.
Outscoring our bench by himself.
Every game that passes during the series, I like him more and more.
Certified bucket.
Bucket
getter.
He did take a little bit of a step back last season, I thought.
Yeah.
But he invested that time in the offseason and has come back, and he better win 6th man of the year. He deserves it.
He did. He won.
Oh, it is official? Yep. Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
And he just has that irrational confidence, shooter's confidence, where
it's that Kentucky guard. Those Kentucky guards come out and they just have no soul.
Right. And that's what John Calipari does down there. He's the master of the one and done.
I mean, look at Book, Maxey,
Yep,
Hero, no soul, just keep shooting.
Yep. So but yeah, you look at the two teams. Sixers are, in my opinion, a head and shoulders better basketball team than Miami Heat. They just have more things they can go to and more guys they can depend on. With Embiid taking. But basically he basically has neutralized their offense, which is insane to say, but it's the truth. Like he has changed the way they can operate offensively by himself.
Yep.
and that's a terrifying, proposition.
Absolutely.
Because the idea that he can now help you and help these guards, like you see those mid-range shots that DeAndre Jordan can't contest, he can. And he's closing out on those shots. So they're not getting those off those picks, those open jump shots that they were getting in game 1 and 2. Now, again, they're going back home. They're gonna play a little bit better because they're gonna be back at home. I'm expecting that.
Whistles are gonna go in their favor a little bit more.
Whistles gonna go in their favor a little bit more. But it's up to the Sixers to come out and set the tone.
Fact.
Set the tone early. And then everything else will fall into place. The momentum will fall into place. Everything else will fall into place.
Let's get that big dub.
Let's do it. Man.
Before we get out of here, where are you sitting at Ozark?
I am so Ruth is now aligned with Claire.
Okay.
And Marty is now mafioso Marty
Mm,
out in Mexico, running the cartel for Omar Navarro. Wendy is doing Wendy things. She's trying to get things back up and running with that Ruth destroyed for them. And I'm really interested to see Javi's mom, Camila. I thought it was interesting too. Camila, she actually kept the same name from Queen of the South. She's Camila Alvarez on Queen of the South, and she's Camila. I'm sorry, no, I'm sorry. She's Camila Alvarez now. She was Camila Vargas on Queen of the South.
yes.
So I think it's funny she kept her same name. She's an interesting character.
Terrifying.
Still terrifying.
And you're only on episode 3.
Yeah. So like I'm
Just
wondering,
wait.
like I believe she was responsible for the hit on Navarro. I don't believe it was that guy at all. I think it was her. So I think that's where you're gonna find out what she's about. But yeah, I'm curious. I'm just curious to see how this all is gonna shake out in the next couple episodes. Starting to get a little sad because I know it's coming to an end.
Yes.
Starting to get a little sad, but like
heads up for the last episode, it's a double.
Okay.
It's well over an hour.
Okay. So it's a movie.
Yes, I didn't know that going into it. About halfway through episode 7, I paused and I was like, I was like, I gotta be almost done this. I paused. There's still 39 minutes left.
Yeah, you're like, whoa, okay.
I was like, all right, I didn't know I was gonna bite off that, but you can't not watch the whole thing in one sitting. It's just be prepared for the last episode. It is a longer episode.
Ready to go. I'm excited to see how this all shakes out and how everything works out. And how and where everyone ends up. Charlotte and Jonah, I'm very curious to see how they end. What happened with them? What happens with Ruth, and now you're going to be working and working with Claire. Will she end up teaming back up with Wendy and Marty? Like there's so many things that I want to see.
Do you want me to answer these questions or no?
No, of course not.
Okay.
No, these are rhetorical. So yeah, it's one of the. I'm very excited to see how everything plays out. Not like it's hard because with the NBA playoffs, I just don't have. I can't find time because I'm watching everything. I'm excited about.
That's why I had to power through it.
You just let it go.
I had because I knew it was good. This is if I didn't power through it, what was going to happen is what happened to me with Game of Thrones.
Right.
Where I got to a certain point and then other things started jumping it.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, I got through the first 4 seasons of Game of Thrones in like 3 weeks. And now in the last 3 months, I've gotten through 2 seasons because other stuff have been
happening. Dallas all tied with Phoenix at 2. They have important Game 5 coming up.
Yep.
I believe Tuesday also.
Saul tonight,
which has been awesome.
Well, I believe this is episode 5, I think.
Yeah.
So we got 2 more after tonight because they're doing the same thing. 7 break, another 7.
Yep. Boston, Milwaukee takes a slight lead over them, 2-1.
Game 4 tonight, I believe.
Yep. Yeah. Tonight. Yeah. So I'll be keeping my eye on that. Just really, really good stuff. I mean, this has been a really good playoffs, I believe, all around. Like really good basketball, night in, night out.
Yeah.
It's been. I think the last couple of years, I don't believe it's been great basketball. Obviously, I love the NBA, but I think, I feel like there's a lot more parity in the past year or two, which I think is good for the game.
It absolutely is. I mean, I love a super team as much as the next guy.
Yeah.
But it is a little crazy how in October you already know who's going to win the chip.
Yes. I think if I look at the teams remaining, I think the Warriors are getting back to the finals.
I do too. I think they're going to win.
I think they're getting back to the finals, and if you ask me, I think they're going to win the championship. They're just the thing about the Warriors.
Number 11, man. It's number
hard.
11.
Yeah, you got Game 6 Clay back. They're just so hard to defend, and now you bring in the Jordan Poole factor also, which has added to this. They're
out tonight.
Say it again.
Ja is out for tonight.
Yeah, and that's. I mean, they're. Someone said this. I completely agree. It is going to be a malpractice if that core doesn't at some point win a championship. If they stay together and keep playing together, it is going to be malpractice that courts get it together.
Agreed.
Between Jaren Jackson Jr., Desmond Bain himself, Dylan Brooks, they should win a championship.
Yep.
And I mean, it's not their year this year. They're not ready yet.
What they truly need is the big man.
Yeah.
Like Steven Adams isn't like, I mean, he's a good player for like the group as they are right now. But honestly, you know who they're missing? Put Bam on that team.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, you put Embiid on any team, that's good. But you want they need a guy like a Bam. They don't need a player like a Rudy Gobert.
Right.
Who did you hear what Kenny said to Shaq yesterday?
No.
Kenny said Gobert would hold Shaq to 12 points.
What did Shaq think about that?
Shaq said, yeah, 12 points in 3 minutes.
Yeah. I think Gobert's defense is overrated. I don't think he's as good a defender as a lot of other people do.
Ben Simmons dropped 42 on your head.
Exactly.
In your building.
On your neck. And like I think too with Gobert, he's not asked to do the things that other big men today are asked to do. You know what I mean? Like he's not like he doesn't have to do like
he's like a 1980s center.
Right. He's not Embiid out there switching on guards. But he can't do that.
I would have loved to see Embiid and prime Shaq go head to head because I'm not sure Shaq could handle him.
No. And also too, guys like, because you know who gave Shaq fits back in the day was Hakeem Olajuwon.
Mm-hmm.
So you give he wouldn't, you're right. He couldn't do anything with Embiid.
No.
And I think Embiid could hang in there with him defensively also.
Yes. Two things before we get out of here. I got a funny quote from a Philadelphia legend over the weekend.
Okay.
L.A. Larry Anderson on the call.
L.A. Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know if you heard over the weekend, LeBron James tweeted at Ronald Acuna.
No.
Yeah. So he said something like, "Hey, I love I love watching you play, etc." Like that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Ronald Acuna apparently is a huge LeBron fan.
Okay.
He went out and had a great game after that. So Scott Francie goes, LA, like, what would you do if LeBron tweeted at you before a game? Like, would you broadcast better? So you know how he is.
Yeah.
He says, no. In fact, I really don't care. It really wouldn't make a difference to me either way, whether LeBron tweeted me or not. I don't have Twitter. And thank God I don't have Twitter because I would have been banned within the first few days.
All factual statements.
And I just sat and like the thing is that Scott Fransky's dying laughing during this.
Yeah.
And LA's dead serious. Like, he's not laughing. He's just like calling the game as he's saying this. And Fransky's falling apart on air while this is happening. And you know that LA is completely telling you the truth.
It's a shame that LA doesn't want to do TV.
Yeah, he doesn't.
It's a shame, and Fransky doesn't really want to do it either.
No, they don't. They both.
Radio. Now, granted, John Kruk is amazing.
Yes.
And like I said, I've grown to like Tom McCarthy a lot, but Kruk doesn't do every game. So, but like, Fransky in LA on TV would be awesome.
Well, they now call LA the Weekender because he only does weekend home games.
Yeah.
So we call him the Weekender now.
Right.
You know who I've been really enjoying on the calls with Scott Fransky? Michael Bourne.
I haven't had a chance to listen to him yet.
He reminds me a lot of when I heard Aqib Talib.
Really?
Yes. I mean, and because at first, I don't know if you. I mean, maybe you did. I don't want to act like you did, but they signed Chad Durbin to be the main guy to replace LA. During the game when LA is not doing it.
Yeah.
Michael Bourne has like supplanted Chad Durbin.
Wow.
Like Michael Bourne is a fascinating guy to listen to. That's number one. Secondly, I don't know if you heard yesterday, but we have to pay homage and wish you a happy retirement to a legend. Did you hear this?
No.
Yesterday, after 53 years, Ray Didinger announced his retirement. At the end of the month, he's stepping down from all outlets. He's stepping down from Eagles postgame, Comcast or NBC Philly, and WIP. He's stepping down from everything at the end of the month.
Wow.
Yep.
He's a guy I thought was going to be like a Hubie Brown.
Yeah, no, he announced it yesterday on his show that at the end of this month, he's stepping away from everything. He said he's filled all of his contractual obligations, and he's choosing not to renew any of them so that he can go and like live his life with his family and everything. He's like, there's nothing wrong with me health wise. He's like, it's just my WIP contract is done. My NBC, he's like, my contracts are all expiring. He's like, I'm just choosing not to renew them.
I mean, I don't listen anymore because I'm just not, in the car on a Saturday usually like that.
Yeah.
But, him and Glenn was really good radio.
Yes.
For a long period of time. I mean, Glenn Macnow is a guy. I think he's like an unsung hero of Philly sports radio, where you basically pair him with anyone is going to be awesome.
Yeah, he reminds me a lot of Rob Ellis. Rob Ellis, if I was a program director, Rob Ellis would always be able to get a job in for me.
Yes, I agree. I would agree with that wholeheartedly.
And he's the same way. He would like Glenn Macnow can always. Now, is he necessarily my favorite person to listen to? No.
Right.
But if I was a program director, he would always be able to have a job.
I would agree with that assessment.
But 53 years he's stepping down.
Wow.
And is there a more universally liked character in Philadelphia sports than Ray Diddy?
There is not.
Like he seems to be the consensus number one. Like you have people, even say what you would about Angelo Cataldi.
Mm-hmm.
He was 33 years as the number one spot. See, there was a large contingency that hates him.
Right.
Howard Eskin, Mistinelli.
Yeah.
I mean, the only person I think comes close to Ray Dininger may be John Clark. Airport Johnny.
Yes.
And we're talking like the difference between like a rookie and a 20-year vet.
Right.
In that, like, there's nobody close. Like, besides a player, besides maybe like Iverson or Dawkins or Embiid, no one is on his level.
I wonder what a guy like Ray Dininger, what it looks like for him to retire. Because like he's not retiring from a factory, like a job he hated. He loves sports. He loves football. Like what? Like is the yellow notepad out on Sunday watching the game?
No, he said yesterday on it. He said, "I will not be charting plays this season." He's like, I will be spending time with my grandkids and walking my dog around Rittenhouse Square with my wife. He's like, I will not have the yellow legal pad out, and I will not be charting plays.
Wow.
Now we'll see if he actually sticks to that or not. But
it's just like because he's a guy like he's gonna watch the game. Like I know even for me, like ever since I've started doing this, I watch sports a lot differently than I did before I started doing this.
I'm about to incriminate myself real quick, all right? Since we started doing this, I think I watched less sports.
Okay.
The thing is that, like, because I now have less patience for nonsense. So I'm now more inclined to turn a game off if nonsense is happening.
Okay.
I have less patience. Like, that game, game 2.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't watch any of the fourth quarter because I just don't have time for the nonsense.
Gotcha.
Don't got time for it. So I think actually since we started doing this, my patience for mediocrity has gone out the window, and it already was extremely low to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like that's why I don't watch college sports. Like I want to watch athletics at the highest level. Like John, who's trying to get an extended warranty on my car. After he's done being the second string linebacker, that doesn't cut it for me. So,
gotcha.
And then, did you see those videos about that kid from France, the basketball player? The guy who's projected to be the number 1 overall pick?
I didn't.
7'1", 18 years old out of France. They said that he's basically, if you took Giannis and KD and put them together.
Oh, awesome.
The thing is that he's only like 210 pounds at 7 feet tall.
Yeah, he's gonna need you.
I mean, granted, he's only an 18-year-old kid.
Yeah.
And he trained.
I mean, KD's body type is not.
No, I mean, even KD put on 25 pounds since he's been in the league.
Right, and he will. I mean, he will. He'll put on that weight.
He trains a lot with Gobert because they both play for the national team. And I saw it and I was watching it and I didn't know if you because usually right around now is when I get to the point of, okay, who's going to be the number one pick? Who's going to be like the top 3 picks? That kind of thing.
Right.
I don't know who has the number one pick this year. I mean, I know it hasn't been announced yet. Like they haven't done the ping, but I don't know who's in the running for it though.
Right.
I can tell you this. They're either going to get an Embiid or a Greg Oden. Like that's like what you're rolling the dice with. You're either going to get Greg Oden or Embiid.
That's a contrast.
Yeah.
Contrast.
And then if you're somebody like me, you probably would have guessed Greg Oden and not ended up with Embiid.
Right. So big game tomorrow night. Momentum on our side.
Are you going to put out your prediction now? Or are you going to wait to put it out on Twitter tomorrow?
Let's do it right now. I mean, I'm going to do it right now. Listen. I think, like I said, everything right now is on the Sixers side to win this game. I think that Miami is shell shocked.
Yes.
I think they can go to the film all they want, and they will, but I don't really know what adjustments they can make. I don't know what defenses they can throw out there. I don't know offensively they can do. I don't think they have it. The only surprise I think you may get game 5 is you see Duncan Robinson. And if I was them, I'm definitely using him Friday. I mean tomorrow. I actually might even start him over Max Strus, to be honest with you, because he's not giving you anything. At least Duncan Robinson, you might get lucky and get a couple threes quickly. But other than that, I feel good. Because now you're telling me, because listen, Friday night, again, Embiid's coming back. You didn't know what he's going to be able to give you. He gave you everything you had. Sunday was a little bit better, more minutes. Now Tuesday, I'm expecting him to be more in form.
Yeah.
Like he's falling into form now. So, I think they're in trouble. I think the Heat are in trouble.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, like you said, it's hard to ask a team to win 3 games in a row. But when you empty the entire clip in Philly and you still come away losing both games, that doesn't bode well for you in the future.
Right.
Kyle Lowry's got a bad wheel.
Yep.
I mean, Eric Spoelstra is a top 15 coach in NBA history according to the voting. I'm not going to sit here and tell him what he should and should not do. When you saw, I think it was 7 minutes left in the third quarter, when Lowry just took that foul against Harden. He just takes that foul at the top of the key. I'm pulling Lowry and benching him for the remainder of the game. He committed that foul because he could not stay in front of Harden anymore.
Oh, by the way, I forgot. Gabe Vincent, another undrafted guy. They have G League. No, he's a G League guy.
Well,
he's a G League guy.
Do we even need to give Miami draft picks anymore? Can we just be like, yo, go get players off the scrap heap?
Right. So, I mean, yeah, I might, if I was them, I would go, because listen, you're 0-2 with Kyle Lowry. He's not really giving you anything. Why not go back to Vincent and Strus in the starting lineup, or Vincent and Robinson in the starting lineup? I don't know. Whatever you want to do, either way of those, you won both games with those guys starting. So that's the only change I think you may see out of them. There's not really much else they can do.
Yeah.
Interesting to see what the line's going to be.
Yeah. I believe I saw it was 1.5. Let me just check it again real quick. But I believe the early line was 1.5.
I'm pulling it up right now. 3.5.
3.5.
Heater minus 3.5 right now on DraftKings.
Yeah, FanDuel, apparently the app on FanDuel doesn't work. So we'll go 3.5 on DK, you said?
Minus 3.5, yeah.
Minus 3.5. Yeah, I was going to say, I thought it was minus 1.5 when it opened yesterday.
The Embiid factor of they were Sixers were a plus 9.5 on Wednesday.
Yeah.
I believe a plus 7.5 on Monday. So you see the Embiid factor of what he brings and how it changes everything. So we'll see, but yeah, I feel good.
I feel good as well. Also, don't forget Thursday NFL schedule comes out.
Yes. Apparently, I think Joe Buck and Troy Aikman are going to be on Good Morning America today, and they're going to announce a big Monday Night Football game today, I believe. So it's going to be so interesting, weird hearing them on Monday Night Football, but good for ESPN for picking them up because it's going to definitely increase their I don't know about their viewership, but I definitely will be a lot more inclined to pay attention, with those two guys out there.
Also, I mean, it really depends. I mean, yes, it will increase their viewership because they're a good broadcast duo.
Yeah.
But recently, the Monday Night Football matchups have sucked.
I would agree.
Like, it's just been bad games.
Yeah, I would agree.
So
They need to also they need to get Buck on baseball too. Like I don't know if that's part of the plan, but I need to hear some Joe Buck from
I don't know because
baseball.
Fox has the World Series.
Right, but ESPN has Sunday Night Baseball, and they have games during the week and stuff like
Oh,
that.
you think just in general get him on?
Yeah,
baseball.
we just
Oh,
need
gotcha.
Buck involved in baseball. Also.
Yeah, I mean, get rid of what's his name?
I don't know.
A-Rod and whoever he's on there with.
Well, you have I forget the play-by-play guy for baseball. But I don't know. I mean, that's sure not irrelevant.
Yeah.
That has been, but yeah, I would like to see Buck do baseball, but I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I'm excited about Tuesday. We'll see what happens. Go
Can't wait.
at Marks be tweeting everywhere.
At Justin Emery Show on social media.
Brad Emery Pod everywhere. BradMershow.com for the merch. Go see our friends at Van's Jewelers, 332 York Road.
Go get some bling.
Yeah, do that. And until next time, you can be with us, you can be against us, but you're never going to stop us. Late.